On 5/20 day, China's Valentine's Day, I went on a date with my boyfriend. He insisted on booking a room right next to the entrance with a full-length mirror, saying it was worth the money. But in the middle of the night, that mirror gave me the creeps. After we were done being intimate, I got off the bed, grabbed some clothes and covered it up. Out of nowhere, my boyfriend suddenly snapped. He slapped me across the face. Furious, I stormed out of the room. Around midnight, I opened up a mystic forum online just to vent. I never expected a private message from the forum. Among the things your boyfriend always carries with him, isn't there also a mirror? I froze. I didn't reply, because deep down I knew it was true. The pocket watch he always wore on his chest, the front of it was actually a mirror. On our 1-year dating anniversary, my boyfriend, Gu Ziyan, rushed me into going on a date, saying he wanted us to stay in a hotel. He'd booked the place a whole week in advance. When he told me over the phone, my face instantly flushed red. But it wasn't until we arrived at the hotel, right around dusk, that I realized something felt off. The entire lobby was painted in this dark greenish-black tone. The receptionist wore a bright red uniform, her lipstick was blood red, and the smile on her face was way too eerie. "Please show me your ID cards." As she checked our info, I couldn't shake off the feeling that she was staring holes right into me. My skin crawled, goosebumps rising all over. When we finally got our room card, I took a deep breath and practically dragged Gu Ziyan into the elevator. Inside, the light glowed green from below, exactly the kind of creepy lighting you see in horror movies. Shadows distorted his face, making him look almost sinister. It was a high-rise apartment-style hotel. We were staying on the 18th floor. The elevator ride felt endless, my chest tightening more and more with each second. At last, the doors opened. I bolted out immediately, relieved that the hallway at least looked bright. While searching for our room, I tried to convince myself maybe I was just overreacting. Behind me, Gu Ziyan read the numbers out loud. 1808 to 1810. Ah! Found it, 1814. The moment I heard the room number, my stomach dropped. He quickly swiped the card. The room itself looked decent. Big window, warm lighting, spacious enough. Finally, I let out a sigh of relief, but as soon as I turned to close the door and change my shoes, "Ah!" I screamed. Behind the door stood a full-length mirror. My reflection was pale as death. Startled, Gu Ziyan rushed over. "Mian Mian, what's wrong?" Even though he sounded worried, I could tell from his face he already knew that mirror was there. My frustration exploded. "Gu Ziyan, what the hell is this? It's our anniversary and you picked such a creepy-ass hotel." He quickly shut the door and wrapped his arms around me. "I'm sorry, Mian Mian, my bad." He even knelt on one knee to help me change my shoes. I already looked it up, tomorrow's 5:20, so all the couple hotels jacked up their prices to 700 or 800. Seeing me still upset, he hurried to add, this was the only hotel that still had a room, and it was just a bit over 300. Hearing that, my anger slowly faded. I was still a student, and he was a grad student. Neither of us had money to spare. Thinking about it, the decor didn't really matter. As long as he truly cared about me, that was enough. So I let it slide. Pouting, I teased him. "Then carry me inside." He was strong, easily scooping me up and tossing me onto the bed. One thing led to another, and, well, by the time I woke up, it was already the middle of the night. Outside, the sky was pitch black. My whole body ached, and I decided to get up for a shower. Still half asleep, I turned on the bedside lamp and stepped off the bed. But after just 2 steps, I froze. In the dim silence of the room, the face staring back at me in the mirror looked even paler than before. Annoyed, I grabbed my jacket and threw it over the mirror. At least if I couldn't see my own reflection, it wouldn't feel so damn unsettling. After a long hot shower, I felt refreshed. But the second I stepped out, I cursed under my breath. The jacket I draped over the mirror was gone. I frowned. "Ziyan, why'd you take my jacket off the mirror?" The very next second, he stormed over and slapped me hard across the face. "Who the hell told you to cover the mirror?" At that moment, I froze. For the whole year we'd been together, Gu Ziyan had always been so gentle. He'd never once raised his voice at me. That slap felt like a thunderbolt out of a clear sky. When I finally managed to speak, tears were already spilling down my cheeks. "Gu Ziyan, what the hell do you mean by that?" Guzian stiffened, then suddenly dropped to his knees with a loud thud. "I'm sorry, Mian. I wasn't thinking straight." He slapped himself across the face. "I just woke up. My head's a mess. I'm sorry. Please don't be mad at me." Weird. Way too weird. It wasn't my first time sleeping with him. He was the kind of guy who, even if he rolled out of bed with messy hair and puffy eyes, would still drag himself into the kitchen just to make me a hot breakfast. So what was this? There were only two possibilities. Either he had changed, or he wasn't pretending anymore. That thought made my blood run cold. Smack! 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 I wasn't some lovesick fool. If he hit me, I damn well wasn't going to just sit there and take it. I raised my hand and slapped him back 3 times, then spun around, shoved my stuff into my bag, and stormed out of the room. The alarm rang again. It was 12:09 a.m., 9-minute intervals. This was the second time. That meant at exactly midnight, Guzian had already turned it off, which also meant that the moment the clock struck 12 on 5:20, the very first thing he did was pull the jacket off that mirror and hit me. Saying it didn't break my heart would have been a lie. I cried the whole way down the dark street until I finally stumbled into a little place that was still open. After filling my stomach, I pulled out my phone to look for another place to stay. That's when a notification suddenly popped up. My hand trembled as I tapped it open. It was a late-night occult forum. Posts about spirit summoning, feng shui for apartments, even threads complaining about husbands stealing their wives' luck. Remembering what just happened, I messaged the admin on impulse. "Hi, admin. My boyfriend took me to a hotel for 5:20. The place was creepy as hell and he got mad at me for covering a mirror. Is he trying to steal my luck or something?" To my shock, the admin replied instantly. Was it a full-length mirror? A chill spread down my spine. I sent back a single emoji. Right. The admin immediately shot me a group chat invite. Then came the next message, and it made my hair stand on end. "In the belongings your boyfriend carries with him, is there also a mirror?" Because the answer was certain. Guzian had an old pocket watch that he always wore on his chest. He had never taken it off, not even during our most intimate moments. On its front was a bronze mirror polished smooth. I still replied, yes, and almost absent-mindedly tapped into the group chat. The very next moment, the admin's message appeared in the group. "Girl, wake up! He's not after your luck, he's after your life." My whole back went ice cold. At the same time, group announcements started flashing. Warnings about common occult taboos, what tattoos meant, how to deal with certain omens, and one note stood out, bolded at the top. At midnight, never, ever, look into the full-length mirror behind the door. My heart clenched like a fist. It felt like that warning had been written just for me, but the timestamp showed it was posted 6 months ago. Every detail matched perfectly. That feeling spread through my whole body. Hands shaking, I typed, If I already looked into the full-length mirror at midnight, then what? The chat went silent. Then suddenly, one of the senior mods dropped a voice message. I didn't dare play it out loud, so I held down and converted it to text. "Damn, pulling your soul on? That's next level twisted. Girl, you need to run. Run straight ahead and don't look back. Soul extraction?" I didn't fully understand, but another icy layer wrapped around my heart. The hotel Guzian had picked was way out in the sticks. The nearest other hotel was at least a half-hour drive away. I ordered a ride on my app while messaging the group. "What do you all mean? I'm trying to book a ride right now." The group owner replied, "Answer me first. Does your boyfriend carry another mirror on him?" I didn't hide it. Yes, he wears an old pocket watch on his chest. The front is a polished bronze mirror. The group went quiet for about 5 seconds. Then suddenly all of admin jumped in. "Holy shit, then it's confirmed! That's mirror soul extraction! If you don't run now, you're toast." Wait, but she's still alive. That means at midnight she didn't get caught by it. Still dangerous, though. All it takes is 2 mirrors and something from the dead. At midnight, the chant rips her soul right out. And if he tricks her again tomorrow, even if she dodges the first time, she won't dodge the next. We need to figure out if he's trying to swap souls. My head spun. 10 minutes passed and still no driver had accepted my ride. My anxiety skyrocketed. Can someone explain? What exactly does a mirror soul swap mean? Even if I'm going to die, I need to know. The group owner went quiet for a while. Then he started a group call. A bunch of middle-aged men, all into the occult, were talking over each other. The chatter was so chaotic I had to strain to piece it together. Apparently, my boyfriend Gu Ziyan had planned this. He booked the room for 2 nights in a remote location, made sure there was a full-length mirror right behind the door, even bribed the cleaning lady to put it there. Then, at midnight on 5:20 or 5:21, he'd lure me into looking into the mirror. My soul would get sucked out. Meanwhile, the soul of his White Moonlight, his first love, would return from another mirror and enter my body. Gu Ziyan wanted to use me as a vessel to bring someone back from the dead. If that's true, one of them said, then inside your boyfriend's pocket watch there must be something that belonged to the woman he's trying to resurrect. Exactly. Did he have some unforgettable first love? My heart sank. I knew he had a so-called white moonlight, but I had always believed he loved me. We'd met in college, and I never cared about whatever high school romance he had. Love or hate, that was the past, so I knew very little about her. Whenever I teased him about it, he'd just stay silent, and I'd change the subject. But now, suspicion gnawed at me. Was she even alive? Or the thought made my scalp prickle. At the same time, a wave of bitterness welled up inside me. What if I want to confirm it? What should I do? I asked. The admin immediately sent me a talisman. The lines were so sharp it looked freshly drawn. Set this as your phone wallpaper. If things go south, just flash your screen. It'll hold him off for 20 minutes. Also, find a weapon, a hammer, a knife, even pepper spray. If you can't fight him, smash that pocket watch to pieces. I had nothing on me, but after digging through my bag, I found a mini box cutter, barely 3 inches long, light as a feather. I flicked it open and stuffed it into my pocket. Okay, I'm ready. So how do I confirm? Simple. Just check if there's something inside the watch that belonged to her. Another mod cut in. But whatever you do, don't let him drag you in front of that full-length mirror. The group owner stayed silent for a long time, then sighed. It's still too risky. Why not just leave and check into another hotel? I slung on my backpack and started heading back. I want to confirm it. What if it's all just a misunderstanding? And besides, I still haven't gotten a ride and my ID's in his room. The group groaned audibly. After a while, the owner spoke again. Fine, give us your hotel name and room number. If anything happens, we'll come. I told them the hotel name without hesitation, but when it came to the room number, I hesitated. In the end, it just felt too hard to say. Besides, when you're out there, you always have to keep a little bit of caution to yourself. To be cautious, I opened a video call as they insisted, letting them watch everything in real time. When I returned to the hotel, Gu Ziyan was peeking out the door, looking around. The moment he saw me, he rushed over and hugged me tight. Mian, thank God you're back. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have treated you like that. I forced a calm smile. If you dare do it again, I'll walk out on you for good. He grabbed my hand like a lifeline. Never again. I promise. I got us some late-night snacks. Let's eat together. The walk back to the room was darker and creepier than before. My scalp tingled the whole way. Gu Ziyan busied himself laying out food, sweat dripping as he ate the steaming hot soup. Eventually, he stripped down to his bare chest. Suddenly, I burst into tears. Crying, I pulled out my phone. Gu Ziyan panicked, hugging me close, wiping at my tears. I leaned into him, whining softly as I tugged at the pocket watch on his chest. It's poking me. He chuckled under his breath and pulled me even tighter. Behind his back, I slowly opened the lid of the pocket watch. Inside was a black and white photo of a young girl. Right then, WeChat exploded with notifications. My hands shook so hard I couldn't even convert the voice messages to text. The audio autoplayed instead. Run! His bracelet suddenly slipped loose. In that instant, I had a horrible hunch. Maybe I was about to die right there. My head went into a tizzy. Between reaching for the knife and screaming for help, my body's reflexes seemed to decide for me. Just before his hands closed around my throat, I slammed the record button and yelled into the group chat, Room 1814, help me! Then I shoved Gu Ziyan and bolted for the bathroom. He yanked me back with all his strength and my phone slipped from my hand, crashing to the floor. I didn't have time to pick it up. I dashed into the bathroom and locked the door tight. Knock, knock, knock. The pounding was furious. Each thud made my heart try to jump out of my chest. A red liquid slowly oozed from under the crack of the door. I tried to back away, but it kept slowly seeping into my feet. The room fell deathly quiet. With a click, the lights went out. Before I could get my bearings, I stared around, straining to see. At that moment, Guzian pressed a tiny bedside lamp to the glass, his face glued against the pane. "Ah!" I screamed and stumbled back, then slipped on the wet floor and fell. On the glass, his face wore a savage grin, teeth bared. "My Mian, how could you be so careless? Let me help you up." The brutal face slid down the glass and vanished. I exhaled, a little relieved. But in the next second, Guzian charged, smashing the lock to pieces. Before I could scream, his hands were on me, clamping my throat. The world squeezed tight. My hand never made it to the box cutter. Everything went black. When I came to again, I couldn't even tell what time it was anymore. The thick curtains blocked the windows. Not a single ray of light slipped through. Maybe it was already night again. I had no idea how much longer until the next midnight. My stomach was painfully empty, my whole body drained of strength. I glanced around. The phone with its shattered screen was lying silently at the foot of the bed. Just as I stretched out my hand to grab it, Guzian's voice suddenly sounded right behind my neck. "My little Mian, you're awake?" My scalp went numb instantly, but I had no choice. I had to face him. Slowly, I turned my head. Guzian seemed to have appeared straight out of thin air. "My Mian, what are you so scared of?" The voice I once loved, soft, gentle, now sounded like a death sentence. At this point, I probably had no way out anymore. Strangely, I felt calm. I asked him, "You've been planning this all along, haven't you?" I pointed at the pocket watch hanging on his chest. "You want to bring her back, don't you?" The moment I mentioned that girl, his eyes softened instantly. He caressed the old watch tenderly. "You mean Mian? She was the best girl in the world. Just a little more. I could have had her." I froze. Mian? That's right." He gently stroked my cheek. "Your name is Mian too. Such a shame, though." A wave of nausea surged up my throat. He paused, then muttered, "But you're not her. My Mian was so good. She should have lived 100 years. But why did she die? Why did she suddenly leave me?" A single tear slid down the corner of his eye. I moved my wrist slightly and only then realized my clothes had changed. I was no longer wearing the white dress I had on when I first came here. Most likely, Guzian had dressed me himself. That dress belonged to his White Moonlight, Mian. Even in the middle of all this terror, my heart twisted with pain. So this so-called love at first sight had been nothing but a scheme from the start. He noticed my name, picked my body on purpose, to use it as a vessel for a soul swap. He had never loved me, not once. I shook my head hard, forcing those thoughts away. Love? Feelings? Who had time for that now? If I made it out alive, I'd never go near him again. I forced myself to steady my voice. I know I've lost. Lifting my head, I stared right into his eyes, searching for any crack in his guard. "But since we did love each other, Xian, shouldn't you at least let me die knowing the truth?" "What kind of person was your Mian?" For a moment, Guzian seemed drunk on sugar-sweet memories. She was beautiful, gentle, had the perfect figure. To be fair, your body is great too, but no offence, really. Still, no one in this world could ever be better than her. His gaze lingered on my waist. "Ordinary women don't deserve to be her vessel, so honestly, you should feel lucky. I chose you. You should be grateful." Goosebumps crawled all over my skin. What he said, if his White Moonlight ever did come back, she'd probably slap him twice. He wasn't just belittling me, he was insulting her too. This man didn't deserve either of us. He didn't deserve a damn thing. I faked a casual tone. "So back then you two must have been super sweet, huh?" He stiffened for a beat. It was okay. Back then we were very happy." I smiled thinly. "You said you almost had her? What does that mean? Was it because of her sudden death?" Guzian hurled a cup across the room, shattering it. "Shut up! What would you know? She's not dead. She's coming back!" He suddenly whipped out a hairpin and jammed it hard into my hair. "That's better." His lips trembled, eyes shining with obsession. "Xia Mian, you don't know. You really do look just like her. Even your name, it's practically the same. Don't you see? This is a gift from the heavens, meant just for me." I adjusted my hair calmly. "Really that alike?" His eyes burned into mine. "Really?" Uncannily alike. I smiled softly. Then would you take a picture with me? We've been together a year. You won't even give me that? Maybe overconfident, he nodded. This place is sealed shut, Mian. You're not going anywhere. He flipped the camera to the front, but froze when he saw his reflection. I chuckled. Idiot, you're supposed to use my beauty cam app. Under the lens, even the brightest moonlight has to fall, I pouted. Hand me my phone, will you? Suspicious, but still trusting, he passed it over. I carefully peeled off the cracked screen protector. Guzian muttered, Once we're done, just sit tight till midnight. Don't try anything funny. The very next second, I lit up the screen and thrust the talisman toward the mirror by the door. A faint cracking sound rang out. The solid mirror instantly split into several cracks. Guzian's face twisted in shock as he realized the polished copper mirror on his pocket watch had also dulled, no longer reflecting his image. You bitch! He lunged at me, screaming. What did you do? What the hell did you do, you whore? I whipped out a box cutter one more step, and I swear I'll smash your mirror to pieces. Sure enough, he froze. I leveled the blade at him. Sit down. Don't move. He glared daggers at me. I quickly opened the group chat. The signal was crap. It took forever to load the new messages. The notifications had piled up endlessly. Panicked, I scrolled down, and then I saw it. Half an hour after I'd begged for help, the admin had posted, Xiami and Mian, you gave us the wrong address! We came to this hotel, but there's no room 1814 here at all. The final thread holding me together finally broke. No room 1814, but I swear I walked into room 1814 myself. I remember it perfectly. How could that be? How the hell? My whole body shook. I tried to send them a message. I'm being held captive. Please think of something. I don't know where I am. Help me! SOS. I looked around. The layout of the room hadn't changed. The bathroom was still damp. My body had no scratches, no signs of being dragged anywhere. That meant I was still in the same room. It just had never been room 1814. The hotel was still this hotel. If the others had already arrived, then they couldn't be far. There was still one way to let them know where I was. I gathered up every ounce of strength and hurled my phone hard against the window. I prayed the hotel was shoddy, that the glass wasn't bulletproof. If it didn't shatter, at least crack a little or make a hell of a noise. But the very next second, clang! A heavy metallic sound rang out. My phone bounced right back, completely intact. Guzian laughed, yanking the curtain open. Behind it was a thick steel plate, not a gap in sight. My way out was completely sealed shut. At the same time, the spell's power fizzled out. The mirror watch on his chest gleamed bright again. Even the cracked spider webbing through the big mirror slowly faded away. This wasn't some normal hotel window at all. This was a custom-built kill room, made just for me. Mian, you're being so naughty. I told you this place is sealed. I lunged for my last weapon, the little knife, but he kicked it far across the room. No way out. Right then I felt like a fish tossed onto a desert, gasping, mouth wide open, fighting for air, but all I could do was wait for death. Guzian cuffed me to the headboard. He took out a set of accessories and a lipstick. One by one, he gently dressed me up, necklace, bracelet, hairpin, belt, even a purse. With each piece he put on me, I felt like I was being strapped into another skin. My body grew colder, inch by inch, like he was completing some ritual. At last he pulled out an old, rancid lipstick, discoloured and reeking. The stench was so sharp it jolted me awake. I shook my head like crazy, thrashing, but Guzian only tightened his grip on my throat. Be good, open your mouth. He smeared the bizarre-coloured lipstick across my lips. Then he let go, propping me up in front of the mirror. Standing right behind me, he forced me to stare at that horrifying reflection. The colour's not that nice, huh? But that's fine, my Mian. I'm about to see you again. When the time comes, I'll buy you every beautiful lipstick in the world. His voice grew more feverish, veins bulging across his neck. The very next second, the alarm clock went off. Midnight. Guzian took off the pocket watch and set the mirror face toward the big mirror in the room, angled just behind my back. The two mirrors reflected into each other, creating an endless tunnel of reflections. I saw countless versions of my own face. Guzian closed his eyes and began chanting strange incantations with practiced ease, words I couldn't understand. The light in the room flickered, dimming and flaring in eerie waves. In that flickering glow, The faces in the mirror twisted into shadows, each one wearing a different expression. Joy, rage, sorrow, emptiness. Every face was me, and yet each one felt like it would no longer belong to me. Midnight struck. The two mirrors connected, merging with the relic of his white moonlight. Everything needed for the soul extraction ritual was in place. The ritual dragged on for several long minutes. My body grew weaker, limp as if my strength was being drained away. My consciousness slowly slipped from me. The last image burned into my eyes, me standing before the mirror, lips curling into a smile. And just like that, nothing belonged to me anymore. Everything was over. When Guzian opened his eyes, the girl in front of him was smiling. You! His outstretched hand froze in midair. Mian Mian? Who are you? On Sha Mian Mian's face appeared an expression she could never possibly make. She winked her right eye. Don't you recognize me? I'm Jiang Mian. You're Mian Mian? Guzian sniffed, suddenly realizing his eyes were wet and red. He hurriedly straightened his clothes, flustered. Mian Mian, you're finally back. Wait for me a second. Let me wash my face first. Jiang Mian tilted her head up, her voice frail and pitiful. Honey, I'm in so much pain. Guzian rushed to splash water on his face, then scrambled to untie her ropes. Mian Mian, I'm sorry. This is all my fault. He cupped Jiang Mian's face in both hands. All these years over there, were you okay? Jiang Mian suddenly stopped smiling. And what do you think? For a split second, a fierce look flashed across Guzian's face, but almost immediately he forced himself calm again and pulled her into his arms. I'm sorry, Mian Mian. I saved you too late. But in the end, it was all worth it. Jiang Mian shoved his hands away. Worth it? Her smile vanished. And what exactly did you pay? Money? Time? Or someone else's life? Guzian turned his back. Mian Mian, you don't need to carry any of this. Let me take the sins for you. Any of this? Jiang Mian stepped closer, driving him into a corner. So that means you didn't just kill one person, did you? Honey, besides Xia Mian Mian, who else? The room fell into silence. Guzian kept his mouth shut, and Jiang Mian didn't rush him either. He hunched over, slowly sinking down to the floor. Yes, there was one more person. He quickly looked up, rushing to explain. But Mian Mian, don't be scared, it's okay. None of this has anything to do with you. I'll handle it all, don't worry. Jiang Mian cut him off coldly. Handle it? And how exactly do you handle the lives already lost? Guzian glared at the girl he called his Moonlight, now leaning down, whispering by his ear. Or why don't you handle it at the police station instead, huh? The very next second, the door slammed open. A group of men with weapons stormed in. Behind them stood a young woman. Guzian's expression shattered. The Jiang Mian in front of him lit up with a radiant smile. Save me? Is that it? And the young woman at the door also spoke. Guzian, who the hell do you think you are? You're not even worth saying you could save me. At last, true fear showed on Guzian's face. He staggered to get up, but a swift kick knocked him flat. The men tied him up tight, like wrapping a rice dumpling. Shaking, he looked at the two all too familiar faces. You and you, who the hell are you? Both women spoke at once. I am me. I've never been anyone's anything. I am Jiang Mian. Han Man. When the group had smashed the door open, I instinctively touched the tiny earpiece hidden in my earrings, finally letting out a sigh of relief. Sham had almost been unable to keep this act going. Everyone was here now. Leading the way was the group leader and two admins, but those two had other identities as well. One was Jiang Mian's brother. The other was a father who had lost his child. The real Jiang Mian stepped forward and slapped Guzian straight across the face. You filthy leech, you ruined my life and still want to ruin another girl's too. Guzian reeled, overwhelmed by the blows, both physical and emotional. Mian Mian, what is this? Is it really you back again? Or are you... Jiang Mian slapped him again, harder this time, smashing his head against the floor. If you weren't locked up, how would I dare come back? Her shoe ground down against his face. You almost destroyed my whole life. What right do you have to drag me back? Jiang Mian was Guzian's White Moonlight, but she was also his victim. They were childhood sweethearts, growing up side by side. Jiang Mian was beautiful, gentle, friendly, someone anyone could get along with. Of course, he liked her so much that he believed she could only ever belong to him. He chased her obsessively, bringing her breakfast, writing her love letters, secretly bullying the guys who liked her too. But what he never expected was that his moonlight had someone else's shadow in her heart, and that someone wasn't him. The day he discovered 1,000 paper cranes in her bag, meant as a gift for someone else, his rage snapped what little reason he had left. That was his moonlight. How dare she shine on someone else? If she wouldn't listen, he thought, then he'd just drag the moon down from the sky. Make her his and his alone. That would be enough. There was still time. Life was long. She was just naive, that's all. Someday she'd understand. Someday she'd see that he was the only one meant for her. He invited her over to his house, and then he forced her down. The noise was too loud. Their parents rushed in and stopped him. He remembered it clearly, the way her whole family nearly tore him apart. But all he thought in that moment was, what a pity. Just a little bit more and she would have been his forever. What a pity. After that, her family moved away. Jungmian and her parents vanished from the city, but at night she would jolt awake, choking for air like she was suffocating. Every shower she scrubbed her skin raw. Every single day she lived, she felt like someone was going to crawl through the window and pin her down beneath the blankets. In the end, she slit her wrists. By the time her family found her, she was already unconscious. Her parents made their final decision: send her overseas and publicly announce her death. It was the only way to cut her free from the nightmare. But what she didn't expect was that Guzian had gone completely insane. To bring her back, he killed someone. And Jiang Mian never imagined that years later that same tragedy would swallow up yet another life. So she swallowed her fear and came back. With her friends, she followed the trail piece by piece. That was how she found Guzian's current girlfriend, Xia Mianmian. A carefully staged play, bait and trap, just waiting for the beast to show itself. Guzian suddenly broke down. Why? How did it end up like this? Where did it all go wrong? I opened his pocket watch and ripped up photo fragments spilled across the floor. If they hadn't come to save me, Guzian, would you have killed me too? He panicked and tried to back away, but the cuffs held him in place. What are you talking about, Xia Mianmian? I brushed my hair aside. Don't you remember? 2 years ago in this very building, you stabbed a girl named Tianmian with a shard of mirror. I took a deep breath, fighting back tears. When you saw her, you thought you were looking at Jiang Mian, so you started chasing after her, treating her as a vessel for your soul-extracting ritual. But that first time, you weren't fully prepared. In her desperation, Tian Mianmian rammed into the full-length mirror, shattering it and ruining your ritual. My tears kept falling. So you lost it? And killed her with a piece of broken glass. I pointed to the faint scar across the base of his thumb. You have no idea how many times I touched that scar, replaying over and over the motion of you holding that shard. Guzian's face twisted with panic. She knew you? I wiped my tears roughly. Not just knew me. She was my white moonlight. Tian Mianmian, she was the one who saved me back when I was bullied. She was the only light in my life. She was my moon in the sky. My real name isn't Xia Mianmian, it's Xia Yi. Because of that awful name, like I was a kid with no father's love, no mother's care, I was bullied mercilessly at school. Toilet water, dirty mop water, I was forced to drink it all. Beatings? I went through them more times than I can count. And yet, it was Mianmian who saved me. Sometimes she even got slapped herself, just for standing up for me. But afterwards, she'd buy 2 ice creams, press one against my swollen face while we ate the other together. She was 1 year ahead of me in school. She laughed and said, one day we'll go to the same university, then no one will ever dare bully you again. But on the very day I started college, she vanished. I never saw her again. I altered my appearance a little and started digging into the truth. Guzian's family was clearly well off, but his wallet was always empty. I knew something was off. Turned out he had sunk all his money into renting out an entire building in some far-off, deserted area. He decorated it like a hotel, but from the very start, that hotel was nothing more than a spider's lair he had spun. He defiled his own white moonlight, and he destroyed mine. Tian Mianmian's father finally couldn't hold it in anymore. He grabbed a pair of pliers, threatening to crush every one of Guzian's fingers. But Guzian only struggled a bit before suddenly breaking into a twisted grin. "Go ahead, kill me! If you do, you'll never find your daughter's body." Then he turned to Jiang Mian. "And you, what proof do you have to throw me in jail? You gonna tell the whole world I nearly went to prison 10 years ago? Go ahead, shout it from the rooftops." Both Jiang Mian and her brother instantly turned pale. "But me?" I started laughing. I turned to them and asked, "This is the rooftop, right?" The team leader nodded. "Yeah, right on top." I stared straight into Guzian's eyes. "If I'm not wrong, Tian Mian is sealed inside the real room 1814, isn't she? If we knock on the walls of the 18th floor carefully enough, we'll find a hidden chamber, won't we?" At last, all the colour drained from Guzian's face. With Jiang Mian and her brother pinning him down, we made our way to the 18th floor. Guided by feng shui and soul tracing, the team leader located the secret chamber. A few swings of the hammer, dust flying everywhere, light cutting through the darkness of years past, and everything hidden was finally revealed before us. My tears poured down uncontrollably. "Mian Mian, we're taking you home now." The sound of police sirens filled the air. And just like that, everything was finally over. Side story. Jiang Mian and I became friends. She's a truly kind girl. We both love travelling. Back when she lived abroad, she went to lots of places, trying to heal herself. But here at home, because of that scumbag Guzian, she was always haunted by fear, timid and withdrawn. After his conviction, she finally untangled the knots in her heart. And now, whenever we have time, we go travelling together across the country. Tian Mian's remains were finally cremated, laid to rest in her homeland. With her father's permission, I kept a small portion of her ashes. I carry them with me so she can see the mountains, rivers and seas by my side. This summer we went to Chaka Salt Lake. It's crowded during the day, but people say when the moonlight hits the lake at night, the beauty takes your breath away and makes you forget all your troubles. So we decided to go at midnight for photos. I snapped my compact mirror shut and tucked it into my bag. Picking up a lipstick, I asked Jiang Mian, "Pretty?" She beamed at me. "Gorgeous." "Then let's go. Let's take some night shots together." She opened the door and stepped out first. I followed, my own smile growing brighter and brighter. Beside us, the Salt Lake stretched out like a perfect mirror. The end.